Welcome back. Let's look at some replays again. Now again, to recap for everyone that didn't watch the previous iterations, if you want to submit your clips, record it, either the replay, doesn't really matter. Just make sure it's on YouTube so I can scroll through it, pause it and rewind if I need to do so. You can post the links in my Discord channel, just make sure that there is actually something to learn from. This is not Thunder Show, this is not you showing off you can get an 8-kill game. We frankly do not care. I'd rather see losses, deaths. Maybe you'll have a 1v1 and it looks like you got lucky. Those are completely fine as long as there is something to critique, something to learn from. I am not gonna watch the games preemptively. So I record a lot of these matches and then it turns out that it's completely useless content. Right now we're gonna look at the Sea Fury FB11. The title here, I do scroll to the end of the clip and if I see someone winning without damage, I basically don't really qualify the clip. I have some people review it for me. They say you can watch it, you can use it. If that's the case, then I definitely will. Before we get started today, thank you to all my YouTube members and my Patreons and everyone looking to get this decal. You can get it through the link in the description. Buy anything from the store with the link, you get a discount, I get a cut. And because my bike is basically cut in half, the support would be very much appreciated. And of course you get the decal with it. Let's get started with the Sea Fury FB11. Now the volume here is super low, I'm sorry for that. And I am gonna skip a little bit into the climbing. And one thing right here, you're climbing at a way too high speed. You want to climb with IES in these planes. And the Sea Fury climbs at about, you can always do 290 to 280 kilometers an hour. Some planes are a little bit slower, some planes are a little bit faster. I personally can also not be bothered to remind or to remember all of them, but climb a little bit steeper. This will give you a little bit more altitude and this will make it so that you'll just have more positioning at the start. And something with the Sea Fury, positioning is very important because, well, this plane needs the advantage to work. It doesn't turn particularly well, it is very fast and it maneuvers quite well at high speed, but you need some altitude to be at high speed. If people are above you, if they have the ability to dive on you and catch you, the defense of this thing is basically non-existent. Right now, you're doing nothing particularly wrong. You are at 5,000 meters. The issue is that you're not really doing anything either. You're just sitting at altitude and you dive on the first guy that you see. And this makes sense if it's a 6v6 match. I haven't actually been able to see that here, but I don't think it's a super small match. This right here is going to cost you a lot of position, and the A6M as of right now really doesn't pose a threat. He's doing basically nothing, he's already being engaged by an F2G. If this is a big map, this right here is why it happens every game. You sacrifice a lot of altitude and you do get a kill here, which is fantastic, you help out the F2G. But now, where is the rest of their team? Well, speak of the devil. There they are. You didn't look and now they are all above you. And as I said, in a plane like this you need to have the advantage. You just lost the advantage. Your F2G is going to die as well. If you had used the F2G as low-key bait, because you're doing that right now anyway, you're not saving him, you're not helping him in any stretch of the imagination, you're better off just keeping your altitude, letting 3 or 4 guys dive on the F2G, and then you can pick off the guys that, well, it's basically the reverse of what happened here. You dove on the A6M, they now pick you off. If they had dove, if they went for the F2G, then you got to do this to them. Of course, the numeric advantage or disadvantage would still be in play. But now you're just kind of forced to dive out. They have the altitude, they will have the speed. And yes, you won't compress that hard. And from the position you're in, you might as well try to get another kill or two. That's completely okay. But if you're wondering why this happens every match, it's because target prioritization. And I have made a video on this. It's very convoluted and very much way too long. But there is too many instances, there is too many dynamic factors that change target prioritization. It's always, I don't know how to call it. Every situation is different. It is very dynamic. And now you're just forced to run away. And there's really nothing you can do because you are in the Sea Fury. Now you can do the shallow climb that you're doing right here. You're basically playing this correctly from the point where you bin the fight. And you can just run away. Now you do the same thing as I would do. You can't be bothered doing this forever, and you start going into a dogfight. But going into a dogfight with 109s in the Sea Fury, you probably could have gone for this guy, but you kind of turned out, nah, got it anyway because he's kind of shit. But yeah, this is just an unwinnable fight. So the main thing here is just look around, because these guys, like, you didn't see him, all you did was look at this one dude. Just scan the horizon, see who is there, and if you see 7 people on equal altitude or higher altitude, of course you're kind of boned from the start, especially in a plane like this. So don't beat yourself up too hard over it. But also keep in mind that wasting almost 3 kilometers of altitude to kill a guy that's already being engaged when the entire team is still climbing, you don't want to be the first one to dive. That's basically a dead sentence. That's really the takeaway from here. The other parts you did somewhat correctly. You're kind of just delaying the inevitable, so you don't really get anywhere anyway. But yeah, work on your target prioritization. Definitely the biggest thing that I see here. Let's look at D, and that's how I review the clips. I click at the end and I see that we are going to be losing. The skin that you have here is absolutely fantastic, so I'll give you a bonus point for that. I just pissed someone over in the comment section. I am definitely sure of it. Okay, you're kind of tripping me up with the colors here, so I'm going to make a mistake every 12 seconds with that. But hey, that is completely fine. We have some altitude, and I should scroll down a little bit further. Oh, there we go. This is information that I would have needed. You have 2 guys on your altitude. The Yak-3U is not really chasing you. The I-225 is flying somewhere into this direction. He's probably not going to go directly for us because there's multiple teammates over here. He's probably going to go either for this one or this one because he's slightly lower. But he can go for us, and we need to keep that in the back of our mind. With a plane like the Ki-84, it's less of an issue when you dive on someone and lose some altitude. Why is that? Because this plane is more of a reactive plane. You don't need as much planning, you don't need as much room, as long as it's not a very maneuverable plane, because you can dogfight most of your enemies, which is fantastic, because this makes it so that you are a lot less limited. This is basically the opposite of the Sea Fury gameplay. Now you have this guy energy trapped, you're doing the right thing. You could have been a little bit more aggressive, I guess, but you're just trying to push him down. If you're not going to take the fight, this is completely fine, and this is basically what I meant last game. You want to not waste all your altitude. Now he hears me and he's gonna do it anyway, but that's how you want to play it. You want to push this guy down. He notices that the rest of the enemy team is also diving, and now you can dive on the Spitfire. The issue is the Spitfire is also diving, so you're not only diving to his altitude, you're also diving to him wasting his altitude. And now we went from 5,000 meters to basically the deck to kill a plane that's not even that much of a threat. So again, we are looking at target prioritization. You had the right thought process here. You're going for the Spitfire, you notice that he's diving, you don't want to do it, but then you see that the enemy team is not really spotted. But where did the Yak-9U go? Where did the I-225 go? Because I see neither of them right here. So this is correct. You want to break off, you want to go back to the people that were flying over there. And there's the I-225. You see that he's diving, and you think to yourself, well, I can waste some altitude now. And that's completely correct. If this guy had kept his altitude, you could have very easily dived on him. However, that's not what happened. The Spitfire dives all the way to the deck. Now you get a kill, that is fantastic, and you'll get some RP. The issue is that now you are on the deck, you are gonna do 1 or 2 turns, and now you're gonna go about 400, 450 kilometers an hour. You get some kills out of it, which is again fantastic. And if you're only looking to get some quick kills, die quickly, go to the next match, get maximum RP, this is fine. The issue is, now you are kind of in the spot. Kind of the same thing, and again, it's target prioritization, because it doesn't really matter what you do here. If this LA9 and the I-225 played correctly, then you're done. The LA9 will lose the dogfight in the long run if he tries to sizzle with you, but you're just too slow, and there's too many people around, and the entire team converges on you, because you are now the lowest. Other people also have bad target prioritization, and this means that if you are low on the deck and they see a free kill, they will dive past your team. They will do the dumbest possible things just to kill you. And this might feel like they are focusing you. This might feel like they are punishing you for whatever reason, because you're flying a premium plane or whatever you're doing. But this right here is the reason. You dove way too much. You should have engaged the guys that are, where are they? Over here. You can kill 1 or 2 of these guys, and then you can transition over to the guys that are extremely low, because you can dive extremely fast. And as you see right here, from 4,500 meters basically to 1,000 in the span of less than a minute. Going up like that, it's gonna take you 2 minutes to gain a kilometer. So try to target prioritize a little bit better. Try to see who you can kill from the top to bottom. This is mostly the case in props. In jets, it's a little bit of a different story. Let's look at the whirlwind. Thought process in the top right, always kind of helpful, but I am gonna be ignoring most of it. And completely correct, he is not really aware, he's going very slow, and this is basically a free kill. I would scan your horizon a little bit more before you dive on someone, but I don't know what you did before you dove on this guy, so it might be completely fine. No, very easy kill. This guy is just not paying attention. Get a free kill. Turning around, go back to the furball, put some pressure on, and get a little bit of your altitude back. Right now, I don't really see any issues yet. I know, of course, you take the L from the title. This is target prioritization. This right here. Spitfire is fighting a Key 61. Keep in mind the Key 61 is behind the Spitfire, but you should go for the 109 here anyway, because it looks like he is going to be turning around and he is behind his friendly. He's going to pitch up for us. I wouldn't... Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. So you notice that this guy is kind of going for us. I already said it here. You can tell that this 109, after he kills the J21, you can tell that he's not turning towards the Spitfire. He's kind of turning into us. And at this point, you want to go horizontal. Preferably a little bit away from it. Yeah, so you want to turn a little bit sooner. Now that might be a reaction issue, that's completely okay. You still could have played this off quite well. Just turn into this direction. Just start pulling now. You're going fast enough, he's not going quick enough, he's way too low. These are props. Just pull horizontal. Don't push the head on, it's way too risky. You could have very easily just gunshot out of the air here. You messed it up, but you fixed the issue. You went head on with him, you had way more energy. This is still a pretty valid tactic, because you just have all the energy in the world. And you do want to make sure that you don't stall out too quickly. You want to keep it somewhat horizontal, but it doesn't matter because the 109 breaks off. He's diving out. And the Key 61 is flying towards us at a little bit of a higher altitude. And the Key 61 is definitely more annoying to deal with in this thing, but the 109 is more of a threat, if that makes any sense. So you are above both of them. Personally, I would try to spiral the 109 here, but you're sitting directly above the Key 61, and the Key 61 is pretty close, and he can probably just pitch up to you, so that's extremely annoying. You dive on the 109, that is completely fine, but the 109 is reacting to you. You just want to break off. If you see him notice that he's reacting to you, so I would have done the same thing up until this point. The Key 61, if he has to do anything, you're going very slow. I probably would have positioned myself directly above him, but those are small things. I would also dive on the 109 right here, but notice I'm diving here. You can still switch targets. He's diving out, he's maneuvering. If I now go to the left and go to the Key 61, you can hear it. You can hear passing the Key 61. Switch targets. You're not forced to fight one guy. You're not gonna kill the guy going 600 kilometers an hour in the corkscrew, and now this guy is directly on your ass. Now you're fast enough to get away from these guys, and that's completely okay. You made a small mistake, a pretty big one, but you made a mistake, you now need to fix it. I wouldn't start turning that fast. Put it in a very shallow climb, get a little bit of distance between the Key 61, and then if you start this corkscrew, the Key 61 wouldn't be nearly as close to you. Because he is gonna outclimb you, I believe, at lower speeds, and now you're too slow. You're way too slow. They are climbing at optimal speeds. Yeah, you did. And you're gonna just hang yourself out to dry. At this point, it doesn't really matter what you do anymore. Yeah, but it's fine. This is not the part where you messed up. Well, It kind of is, but that's not the that's not the issue here. The real issue is this right here. Again, target prioritization. And people tell me that the target prioritization is not the issue. It's their aim, it's the maneuvering, it's their plane or whatever. You are not in the better plane here. The 109 F4 is a vastly superior plane to the Whirlwind. But you could have played this a lot differently. I would personally, from all the way back here already, instead of turning towards him, I would turn out. Turn to the right. Gonna put yourself a little bit further away from the Key 61. He's gonna need to climb a little bit further to get to you. Because right now, if this 109 takes the fight and you get to spiral him and this guy just decides, oh, I'm going to take the head on, he's going to get it. He's going to damage you, he's probably going to kill one of your engines and you're out of the match. Dying on the 109, that's fine. Right here you want to do that because the Key 61 is in front of the 109. If you go for the Key 61, you're going to get this guy riding your ass. But the second you start hitting 400 to 450, you just need to keep in mind how much speed am I gaining, because you're going straight down and you're going to pick up a lot of speed, you're going to waste a lot of altitude. I would have already have broken off. I noticed that this guy is not pitching up into us, he's diving away, he's keeping his speed, he's being hard to hit. And this is just going to make you waste a lot of time, position and energy and potentially ammo. You don't want to do that. So I would have waited for him to react, basically till here, and then go for the Key 61. If this guy now pitches back up to us, we have more energy. The Key 61 will not have too much position and we are able to just go basically straight up. You are forced to break off, you at least do that, and you are a decent distance between the Key 61, but you're not really losing speed. You are not in a hurry to start pitching up. Climb very shallowly, get about 1 to 1.3 kilometers of distance, and then if you start doing this kind of a turn, you have a lot of distance, they need to climb a lot further, and they are not going to be anywhere near within gun range. And then, if you make a little bit of a corkscrew like this, look how close he is here. Now he does pull in quite handily, but this would have been about 900 meters otherwise. And then he needs to pull much harder to lead. Then he's going to stall out much easier, much quicker. And that's basically the main thing here. So, to take away... Oh, please, not now. Ah, god damn it. Well, hope it makes sense. Pick your target, switch your targets, and then basically don't panic. But I know that's easier said than done. It's not the easiest thing to just not panic. But I hope that helps. Let's go on to the next one. CM Reaper Shat in My Mouth. What a fantastic title. So, we are in the SU-11, which is pretty damn overpowered. However, the F-84G is a pretty good matchup. There are some things here. The F-84G will actually turn a little bit better than you. It is faster than you, but he can't really dogfight you too long. He does outturn you. Yeah, great caption here. He does outturn you, but you have a lot of energy and a lot of acceleration. So you need to kind of be wary on both ends. But the F-84G kind of has the advantage here in terms that he can engage you whenever he wants. He's much better at high speed and he is much quicker. He dives on us. We dodge him. He's not gonna reel you at 800 kilometers an hour in that kind of angle. I wouldn't worry about it too much. And he just runs away. And CM Reaper, I know the guy quite well. I've flown with him quite often. It's not even a use chasing him here, because he's not gonna try and reverse you when he has the upper hand like this. Is your teammate still next to you? I don't think he is, looking at the map. Personally, I would just kind of fly either towards, this right here. You want to push him away from the team, so he has to do a full 180. So this is basically correct. You want to get him past your team, and then you need to turn back in. The issue, if you focus on one guy, this team is going to absolutely slam yours. Because look at the positioning here. Their entire team is above your entire team. You need to help out your teammates here, because keeping CM Reaper busy is still going to make your team lose. F80 is on fire. do keep checking your 6, because he will have turned around and he will probably be about 2.5 kilometers behind you right now. Personally, okay, I just saw it wrong. Yeah, this is fine. Could have gone for that guy because he's about to die. I would value my, whatchamacallit, my SU-11 a little bit more, and the F-80C is a bigger threat than the F-80A. The F-80A will probably be an easier target. The issue is there's a lot of targets to choose from here, but you need to keep in mind, CM Reaper is probably hauling ass towards you right now, so I'd rather go for this guy, give him not my 6, and then he might go for someone else. Gives me the ability to clean up that team, but it's also true, the SU-11 is kind of annoying to aim. Dog shit aim is correct, but it's also kind of annoying to deal with. This is what I mean. You need to switch targets. Don't tunnel vision, and this is a very nice example actually. Because you're going for the F-80, you notice you're not getting the shot, this guy is flying straight, you switch targets, you hold the trigger down kinda, you get a critical hit, and that's fantastic. Now CM Reaper looks like he didn't turn around very quickly, so he's still pretty far away, but who is he going for? Probably you, because you're going straight up. Is he coming? Yes he is, and you're going way too slow now, and you need to dodge the head-on, because the F-84 will just have the advantage in such an engagement, since the volume of fire is a lot higher. Yeah, I have no idea what the hell is going on now, because the replay is absolute dog shit, but you know, whatever. And at this point, what can you do? You have an F-80 here, I would probably go for him as well. In jets it's a lot less of an issue when you dive a little bit to get a shot, because you can get it back relatively quickly. Now this guy, okay, that's just dog shit aim, that is correct. Go for the next one, can you at least kill that one? Thank you very much. Now, if you had actually hit that F-80, this wouldn't have been as much of an issue. But telling people to aim better doesn't really get you anywhere. Let's look at our current situation. The F-80 is extremely annoying to deal with, so basically what you want to do is get away from the F-80, energy trap the F-80 before the F-84 comes in. The issue is the F-84 is going extremely fast, and he's going to be reeling you in. And then, yeah, this is a... yeah, great thought process. I'm just going to try to put him in a montage. That is definitely correct if you already are in a very bad position. What you don't want to do in a position like this, the F-84 is below you, he's much quicker. Do not pitch up. You're just making yourself slow, you're just making yourself an easier target. And this guy is now definitely going to hit you. It doesn't matter how bad he is, if you do this kind of maneuver. You're just giving him a full broadside at about 500 meters, 500 kilometers an hour, and he turns better, so he's just latched on your ass now. He can air brake, he can do whatever the hell he wants, and there is nothing you can do about it. And this is how you stay on people's 6. You saw that little thing that he did? A lot of you guys are not aware of this, but he's pulling for the shot, and what does he do? He breaks off a little bit, and gives himself a little bit more room, and there you go. You burn up. Main issue here, if I have to critique anything, well, of course the aim is an issue. Don't tunnel vision on him too hard, but you broke off the second he passed the furball, so that's completely okay. The main thing here is you're going 700. The F-80 is not really directly chasing you. He's probably flying towards his airfield. But I get it. Try diving instead of climbing here. I know that the F-84 is better at high speed, but if someone is below you with a higher top speed or with a higher speed and you're going much slower, if you pull up, you're just going to make his shot a lot easier. A slow jet is a dead jet. And that's a line you can always rely on. So going up here, I would probably go down, try to dive a little bit, pick up some speed. The issue is he's going to catch us anyway. He's faster than us, he has a higher top speed than us, and he just turns better at high speed. So the second you get in this position, you're already kind of done. And that's because of positioning. You want to make sure that you don't get him directly on your 6. The issue also is that he can break off at will. He can just not take the fight when you go head on. He's going to run away, he's going to extend, he's going to go vertical. And if he plays it perfectly, he is going to be winning. I do think that the SU-11 is one of those super undertiered planes, but the F-84G is basically the counter to this vehicle. So don't beat yourself up too much over it, but do keep in mind that you could have played it a little bit different. And then it's mainly looking at the, well, the aim is always going to be an issue with planes like this. It's kind of annoying. This is correct. This is fine. Like, it's not really wrong to go for either of these, but I would have tried to keep Piloto alive, the SU-11. But I get why you're going for him, because you probably could go for him, and then for him, and then maybe for him. So, yeah, I think this is better. I might have made a mistake then by going for this dude. Looking at it like this is a lot easier than in real time, and that's also why I go back now. Because initially, I would say, go for this one. But you have a lot of targets ahead of you here and only one over there. And then you also put some more distance between you and CM Reaper. But I also know now that CM Reaper is actually not chasing us already. But that's just because I lack some information. If I knew that he was 4 kilometers away, 5 kilometers away, it's a little bit of a different story. Yeah, it's just some more dog shit aim. And then you get this. The second this F-80 breaks off, I would just try to send for a dogfight, because you don't want him to get too closely directly on your 6. And that's just knowing your planes. Alright, let's look at the next one. Last one. I didn't have enough clips, so I'm gonna look at one more. You're flying a Vickers. Now, that's kind of a funny meme plane, I guess. Alright. Wanted me to look at you going for the SP2C first, and then he's gonna respawn in the F4U-1D. Now, the SP2C can really not do anything here. This is one of those planes that it needs energy, and if it has energy, it's kind of a meme plane that turns extremely well. But the second it's out of energy, it kind of becomes a dead fish in the water, or dead fish on land even. Okay, I'm gonna wait for this guy to respawn, because I don't want to waste too much time. F for you. Sounds like you're throttling down, probably cooling your engine. You're not going very quickly. I wouldn't even take the head-on here. I would probably try to dive underneath him. Right now, to start off, the head-on is a big disadvantage to you, and you want to be fast. Right here, not gonna lie, you already should be dead. 370 in a head-on against 650 cals, you're done. If this guy has any idea on how to aim, of course he won't have tags, because it's ground realistic, so it's a little bit harder to aim. But this right here is a recipe for death. Now you dive out, you pick up some speed, he doesn't chase immediately, he turns the wrong way initially. And you're going into a little bit of a raid fight. Now I'm not entirely sure, I'm gonna be honest with you, if you will win this kind of fight, but. The F4U has a lot of position and a lot of energy. You do not, because you went into the merge with 400, you try to take the head-on, and then now you need to go defensive. I do think that he will outturn you. I don't know how heavy these guns are, but you can tell that he's gaining on us. You're going 380, you're losing speed. And at about 700, so let's say 500, he already has the shot. Again, he should have died. This guy just cannot aim. We go vertical, which is kind of understandable because you're trying to cut into his loop. He doesn't react. He reacts quite late even. Flaps are fine here. You don't have lead, however. Make sure to pull these flaps back in, because you are going to be dumping all your speed again. Okay, that's good. And now you want to pull in underneath him and try to loop over him. So right now, it's okay, but you don't want to use your flaps here. You're just going to make yourself slower. You're just going to make yourself a sitting duck. And I know I say this all the time, but I'm making a flap guide. I basically have all the footage now. I just need to make my fantastic drawings. Don't overuse them. Even if your plane turns better, if you use your flaps too much, you are going to be throwing your advantage. Trust me on that. He again doesn't get the shot. I guess you could use him here to try to get the shot in. But he's playing his cards right. He has a lot more energy. And I'm pretty sure that the F4U-1D wins this fight regardless. Especially if he starts with more energy. But he turns the wrong way here. It doesn't really matter. Why? Because this plane is going to turn better when you use your flaps. Don't use your flaps in the raid fight. Flat turns like this, you're actually going to turn slower with the flaps down. Try to keep your speed. Try to keep the airflow up. And then you might actually be able to get the shot. This right here is absolutely killing your performance. sounds counterintuitive, I know. The flaps will make you turn better, right? See it more like a boost. You're going to sacrifice some of your speed to turn slightly tighter. But the second you lose that speed again, you're going to turn worse. So you can use them for instances. If you use them prolonged like this, you're just running yourself out of energy. Because right here, I think without flaps, you might actually out-energy this guy. But again, I'm not entirely sure. I'm just telling you that these flaps are definitely not helping you. And even with the flaps, he's barely gaining. So I think that if you went into a very shallow corkscrew without the flaps a lot earlier, I think you would have gotten away with it. Because right now, he still doesn't have the energy to pull up for you. Somehow. You might want to go up. No, please, no. No, yeah. Okay. So, you have some altitude here. Your boat going piss slow. And if you go up here, you're going about 300. I don't think you would have been able to follow. But what do? You reverse your turn. You use your flaps. And he's going to pull in. Maybe. Okay, you just go over his nose. And you pull back into his nose. Yeah. Alright. So this is a mistake I see very often. Having the upper hand. He's slower than you right now. The last thing you want to do versus someone that's slower than you and behind you is turn into them. Because you're just going to give him the shot. He's already completing his turn into us. We barely did anything and he's already gained position. You gave him a lot of position right here. We go up. Okay, I misjudged this because he's even slower than I thought. He's probably also using flaps, to be honest. And he goes under our nose. This is perfect. If you now keep turning into this direction, to the right of the screen, he is not going to get a shot. But what do? You align yourself with his guns, with his plane, and you pull directly ahead of it. If you had kept pulling in this motion, before you straightened out, if you just had kept this corkscrew up, he wouldn't have gotten the shot, because the F4U stalls like an absolute dogshit plane. At least this one does, because it doesn't have the best engine. Something like the FU4B is a different story. Here you can use your flaps, try to maintain lift to get the reversal here. This is fine. You get on the 6, you reverse it, but you also should have died 7 times already. Let's keep that in mind. Yeah, he's also using his flaps quite extensively. And you pull in onto a 6. Now, if you don't use your flaps here, for the love of God, please do not, so we can actually see it. No, wait, the game is about to end. Yeah, don't use your flaps, man. You're actually killing your performance. I think you could have killed this guy, despite him missing 6 of his angles. Let's just ignore that for a second. But I do think that if you hadn't overused your flaps, you could have won this fight, despite the other mistakes. Going vertical with your flaps down like this is absolutely destroying your performance. You probably would have started like 400 meters higher if you hadn't. And now you're back to position 1. Main issue? 2 things. It's basically energy management, but 2 things. You go head on here. No, please. Not again. Alright, let me... Hey, life hack. Main thing here... Well, it's a little bit further back. Don't even bother. What you want to do here is you see the dot, dive underneath him, pick up some speed. You don't want a full commit and a head-on, especially with this kind of matchup in guns. Now you do dodge, that's completely fine. The issue is you're too slow, this guy just can't aim. That's the main issue here. This guy should have killed you 6 times over before your mistakes actually started killing you. Dus this entire start of the fight puts you in a spot where you are basically guaranteed to die. This right here goes into this right here because he has more energy and more position, because dodging the head-on also makes you lose a lot of position. And then by the time this happens, and his aim would have actually killed him, you start using your flaps too much, you turn into the wrong direction a few times, and you still might have been able to kill him, looking at the fight, if the tickets went on a little bit longer, but you could have killed him basically here. Looking at the misses, right? If we if we take into account that he misses all his shots, then you could have very easily killed him. But hey, we are here to learn, and that is completely fine. And these are the kind of clips that I want to see. There's actually something to talk about. There's actually something to critique. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you all for watching. I'll try to make a new video once the patch rolls out. I think it's next week. I don't have any inside knowledge. I don't have more knowledge than you do. It's speculation. So do not go around saying that I said it's next week. I have no clue. But I just have the feeling that it will be. I just like to specify that before I get people mad at me that they took a week off work and then it turns out that, well, there is no patch. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.